Morning, folks. It's gonna be a good one today. We've got our coffee here ready. Anybody else watching Mandalorian? Love it. Okay. About a week or so ago, I did a ride that basically started off my whole 2021 campaign, and it was a basic base endurance ride. I feel like, right, there's like so many rabbit holes we can go down with this, and I don't even know what to title this video, and I feel like I could make a number of videos as well going off of this, talking about how I'm going to plan next year, how I'm going to like phase and periodize all of my training ahead of next year. And I feel like I really want to show you that because it could help you. It could help you. And for those of you that follow me to find out what I do, at the minute it's very quiet. Obviously there's no racing outside, it's all indoors. But at the moment, I'm focusing mainly on developing my base fitness that I have lost. Okay, I have lost since like basically tapering for all the hill climbs that I didn't do. But in fairness, I'm not going to lose a ton because I've just ridden for the last 10 years of my life, and you know how much base are you really going to lose. But it's not just about base. You know, it's about aerobic endurance and aerobic efficiency, and those are the things we have to address over the next coming weeks and months, possibly the next 3 months, maybe, as we build towards next year. So if you want to see more videos going down these rabbit holes over the next couple of weeks, I will definitely do them. Just leave a thumbs up and comment down below. Ed, give us more of what we want to see. Okay, so this is a Training Peaks pull-up of my workout from that ride, that session. As I said, very basic session. It was just 1 hour, or at least I'm going to highlight that one particular hour of upper zone 2, borderline zone 3. So 0.75 intensity factor. You can do the exact same thing if you work by power, by the way. All my details there on the right hand side from said workout. But what I wanted to talk about was how I'm going to measure and how I'm going to actually show that I'm developing fitness in terms of these basic abilities, which are aerobic endurance for a start. And there's two ways I'm going to do it. There's efficiency factor, which is actually a metric in Training Peaks that you can see and monitor yourself, and the second one, which is decoupling. So by far the most important of the 6 abilities for an endurance athlete, which the majority of us are, you know, if you spend any amount of time riding a bike over an hour, you're generally going to be an endurance cyclist, is aerobic endurance. So before we get, you know, fitter and faster in the build period and doing the hard specific workouts that will get us ready for certain things, we need to start with something, and no better starting place than the actual base itself. So efficiency factor, then, that is the first thing we're going to be looking at, and it's done in a variety of ways. The easiest way you can do it is, particularly at the start of your whole training cycle, is to do a zone 2 workout, because if you do like a sweet spot workout for an hour, for example, it's going to be quite hard because, you know, you haven't got a lot of form, you haven't got a lot of fitness, and your recovery time from it is probably going to be quite substantial. You can also do it for threshold as well, but I don't really recommend you do that. But what you can easily do it with zone 2. So if I ride zone 2 for an hour, and it's made a lot easier by using erg mode, the efficiency factor is basically the relationship, I'm trying to move my coffee out of the way here, between heart rate and power. And as aerobic endurance improves, what you tend to notice, you may have noticed this, but at the start of the season, for example, you might have, say, your zone 2 power and your zone 2 heart rate. They might not match. So you might have a higher than usual heart rate and a lower than usual power, even though the zones are correct. Now, I tend to see this happen, some of you might see it as well, that as you get fitter, aerobically particularly, but as you get fitter in general, those zones will change and you'll end up right in kind of zone 3 power at a zone 2 heart rate. And that's like, so what this basically means is like you're obviously able to produce more power at a given intensity or at a given output, because at the end of the day, your heart rate is what your body is actually responding or working at to a certain extent. So measuring it by having a number, so the number that Training Peaks gives it, the efficiency factor, mine is 1.91. Now I happen to know that 1.91 is already fairly high, but if I was to do a sweet spot 1 hour, it could be 1.2. Okay, and the higher the number is, the better in this instance. But now we're going to talk about decoupling. And with decoupling, it's actually more a case of the other way around. So the lower the percentage, the better. And below 5% is a great decoupling. And what decoupling is, to a very basic degree, is it's a way to measure how your heart rate and power respond. But you have to remember that the effort needs to be fully aerobic and it also needs to be very consistent. So, you know, no spikes, no kicks up the climb, nothing. Just flatline power is probably the best way to do it. However, it is a less reliable marker than EF. It can be affected by external factors such as, you know, the time of day you've done it, your warm up, if you're overheating. Mine, for example, you can see my heart rate trend on that graph there. My heart rate definitely does trend up near the end, and it obviously starts lower at the beginning just because. So I didn't want to dive too deep into it, but it's just 2 metrics that you can use to come back to. And, you know, again, it's very easy to do. You can easily slot in an hour where you basically just don't deviate from a certain power output in that kind of zone 2 range, where you can test all the time, you know, every 4 weeks. It's a little bit like FTP testing, but in a very mediocre way. I feel like a lot of us can get more out of this one than we can in our FTP test, because these are absolutely doable most days of the week. But it allows us to get that gauge over a longer period of time into how we're developing aerobically. Obviously, it's not the be-all or end-all. How you feel, you know, how you're riding out on the road and other things obviously plays a part in that. But it's just something that we can track. And I thought I'd share that with you. So that's where we're at the minute. Like I said, if you want to see more videos, maybe you can create a little bit of a series of videos into how I'm planning for next year, then let me know down below. And that is going to end today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it, and I will see you in the next one.